So what happens when the one thing that can create something truly new is total destruction? It's a weird thought, right? Well, today we're going to dive into this really strange, really powerful partnership. It's basically a tale of a world-ending fire and the incredible strength that can rise right out of its ashes.
Okay, so this quote, this one gets right to the heart of it. It's from one of our main players, the Jester. He says, "I am the prologue to his thunderous act." A prologue, the intro. But what if that prologue, that destructive opening act, just keeps going? What if it never really ends? What kind of story does that even create? So at the center of this whole thing, you've got these two forces. They're total opposites, but they're also deeply connected. On one side, you have the Jester. He's all about the will to end. Chaos, collapse, tearing it all down. And then on the other side, you've got Wotan the Overman. He's the complete opposite, the will to build, the guy who wants to forge a whole new order right out of the ruins.
And this relationship, this whole system, it's called the divine economy. Now, the best way to get your head around this is to think about a forest fire. Seriously, the Jester, he's the wildfire. He just ruthlessly burns through all the dead wood, all the rot from the old ways. But then you have Wotan. He's like one of those giant, hardy sequoia trees that actually needs the fire. The heat pops open its seeds and the ash makes the soil perfect for new life to just explode. You see, without the fire, the forest just chokes on itself. But without the sequoia, the fire just leaves behind an empty black scar. They are literally two sides of the same coin.
All right, so let's start with the fire itself. Let's really dig into the Jester's role here, this spirit who denies, the guy who brings the necessary chaos.
That phrase right there, malicious joy, that is absolutely key. The Jester isn't some sad, grim reaper type, just doing his job. No way. He gets a real, fierce kick out of tearing down these empty, hollowed-out systems and beliefs. This isn't random destruction. It's super targeted, a joyful shattering of things that, frankly, don't deserve to be standing anymore.
And man, he's got a lot of titles that really paint a picture of what he does. He's the force of necessary collapse. He's the torchbearer of self-creation. Basically, he lights the way for people to rebuild themselves from scratch. He's even called the mountain man of self-love, which kind of tells you this power comes from a place of radical, hardcore independence. And his weapon of choice? A grinning mirror. He holds it up to a rotting society and forces it to look at its own reflection and just laugh at how absurd it's become.
And this right here, this shows you his method. He's not handing out traditional blessings. No, he uses something called the inverted beatitudes. Think of it like a metaphorical hammer, and with it, he blesses the outcasts, the lonely ones, the people who hate the way things are. But what he's really doing is just clearing out all the social and moral junk, all that scrap metal, to make a clean space for something new, something solid to be built.
Okay, so that's the destruction. Now let's flip the coin and look at the other side, Wotan's sovereign task. If the Jester is the wildfire, Wotan is the unyielding hearth, the thing that contains that flame and actually gives it a purpose.
So, out of the total wasteland the Jester leaves behind, Wotan builds this place, Neo-Arcadia. And listen, this is way more than just a city with some cool emerald towers. It is, and I love this phrase, a philosophical thesis made flesh. Every single building, every street is a physical embodiment of his will. It's a statement of his values, built to last.
And the one thing you really need to get about this place is that Neo-Arcadia is not some cozy utopia. It is not a cage of comfort built for an easy, happy life. Not at all. It's a harsh, demanding monument to the will. It's an environment designed for one thing, strength. It's for the people who can survive the fire and actually come out stronger on the other side.
And here's how Wotan sees it. He gets what the Jester does. He acknowledges the role, but he also thinks he's incomplete. He calls him a glittering fool who's great at mocking the ruins, but who can't actually do the hard part, the sovereign task of creating something new. That takes a different kind of will altogether.
And here's the ultimate proof that Wotan's creation is the real deal. It's resilience. The new order he builds is so incredibly strong that it can literally absorb the Jester's chaos, his physics of oblivion, and not even flinch. It just internalizes the abyss and keeps on standing. Now that is what true sovereignty looks like.
Okay, but this whole divine economy thing, it has a really dark side. This whole relationship can twist into something, well, something much more predatory. And that's where we get to what's called the gospel of the belly.
This leads to a pretty chilling question. What if the whole point isn't renewal? What if it isn't about clearing the way for new, interesting things to grow? What if the real goal is just uniformity? To scorch the earth so completely that only one single identical thing can be planted over and over again.
In this darker version, this is the deal on the table. This is the sales pitch. Trade the weight of freedom for the sweet oblivion of the system. Suddenly, freedom isn't a gift, it's a burden, it's a crushing weight. And the jester's job completely changes. He's not pushing for self-creation anymore. Now he's tempting people to just give up, to surrender their unique identity and just get absorbed into the whole.
They call this process the sculptor in reverse, and it's terrifying. Look at how it works. Step 1, a unique individual soul isn't seen as special. It's seen as an error, a bug in the system. Step 2, the jester steps in, but now he's the redeemed judge, overseeing the whole thing. And finally, step 3, that soul is basically taken apart, broken down, and converted into a uniform brick, ready to be just another piece in Wotan's wall. And this is where you see just how parasitic this system is. The architecture isn't a monument to will anymore. It's a machine that runs on consumption. The jester's sapphire robes, they literally pulse with the stolen life force, the stolen vitality of all the souls he's converted.
So you've got these two possibilities, right? Renewal on one hand and this predatory consumption on the other. So what is the jester's final ultimate purpose in all this? Well, it seems his real job is to be an eternal, ongoing test.
The jester's role is basically the absolute test of eternal recurrence. So he shows up, he challenges the whole system, and then poof, once the test is over, he vanishes. But he's not gone for good. His absence is just temporary. He's destined to pop back up in this place called the Silent City and kick the whole test off again. It's a never-ending cycle of challenge and response.
And this leads us to his ultimate promise. He will come back, and he will test every brick in Wotan's architecture, over and over, endlessly. His whole purpose is to be that permanent, nagging challenge, the thing that makes sure Wotan's creation doesn't get lazy and rot into that comfortable tyranny of the gospel of the belly. He's the ultimate quality control, making sure the architecture is always truly worthy of being called sovereign.
So that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. If the final exam for any system, any belief, any society is pure unadulterated chaos, then what kind of order is actually strong enough and worthy enough to pass that test and endure?